The Argonaut, a steel cathedral retrofitted for a singular purpose, to recover secrets from the planet's most inhospitable realm. 7 specialists moved with the efficiency of long practice, each bearing the weight of the mission ahead. Their vessel was the Deep Explorer 5-4, a sphere of titanium bearing the scars of 100 previous descents into the abyss. The chief officer reviewed the final checklist as the sun dipped toward the horizon. All systems were optimal.
The submersible touched the water and became a visitor to another world.
Inside the pressure sphere, the 2 operators felt the world shrink to their instruments and the groaning hull.
At 200 feet, the last light vanished. Their own lights revealed the endless rain of marine snow.
They descended through a living galaxy. Creatures of light investigated the intrusion into their eternal night.
On the surface, the team tracked the descent. The numbers climbed with metronomic regularity into the realm of crushing pressure. The abyssal plain materialized from the darkness. A lunar landscape, smooth and ancient, stretched in every direction.
Hours passed in concentrated silence. Then, the sonar painted a shadow that didn't belong.
The Empress Catherine had broken apart, her vigil over the deep ending over a century ago. They were the first to see her since.
The recovery required a surgeon's touch. A single clumsy move could destroy centuries of preservation.
One by one, the chests were secured in the recovery basket, cradled against the journey back to the surface. Their vigil ended. The chests began their ascent from the abyss, leaving the wreck in eternal silence.
The surface ship's lights appeared like a constellation of artificial stars. The submersible returned to the world of air. But all attention was on the recovery basket. As it cleared the water, the 6 chests were revealed.
A storm arrived as if on cue. The team worked under shelter, transferring their fragile cargo with the gravity of pallbearers. The cleaning began with infinite patience. Each layer of concretion held a story, and each was documented before being gently removed. Opening the chests risked catastrophic damage. They chose to create a small access point for a camera first.
The camera's light activated. Inside the chest, shapes resolved. The chest was not empty.
The decision was unanimous. They would open the chest fully, committing to see what the deep had guarded.
The first artifact was a box of navigation instruments, its maker's mark from 1867 still legible.
They worked through days and nights. Fossils for a museum, jewelry, books, scientific specimens.
The triumph was quiet but absolute. They had reached into the past and brought something precious back.
Each artifact underwent final documentation. High-resolution images captured every detail for the archives of history.
As you can see, Curator, they are magnificent.
They are beautiful. It is truly astonishing. We never thought we'd see them again.
The pilot imagined the hands that had used these tools. A ship's surgeon, perhaps, tending to the crew of the lost Empress Catherine.
The weight of success settled in the quiet hours. It was more than salvage. It was a conversation across centuries. The Deep Explorer 4 was cleaned and prepared for its next journey. It rested, a veteran of the deep, its latest mission complete.
Gold and silver had survived with remarkable clarity. Monarchs' faces stared out, their empires now transformed. In the unspoken camaraderie of shared accomplishment, they found a deeper bond. The pressure had forged a team.
The Argonauts sailed on, a tiny island of human purpose on the immense, ancient ocean.
The past, now carefully boxed, was stored away. Its secrets were safe, ready to be studied by generations to come.
In the quiet of her cabin, the pilot replayed the descent in her mind. The darkness, the light, the moment they first saw the chests.
The ocean presented a serene face, holding its mysteries close. It had given up a few, but so many more remained.
The laboratory stood empty and done. Its work done.
The mission would become a series of indelible images, flashes of light in the dark, moments of discovery, shared focus.
Land appeared on the horizon as a faint promise. Their isolation was ending. The world awaited their story.
The artifacts began their new journey, passing from the realm of recovery to the realm of study and display.
The Argonaut rested. Her decks, which had hummed with purpose, were quiet. But she was ready.
The sextant would no longer measure stars. Now, it would measure the imagination of every person who stopped to look.
The descent was over. The darkness had been breached, its treasure brought to light. But the deep remained, waiting.
Their story would be told and retold in places like this, growing with each telling, becoming part of their legend.
The mission lived on in classrooms. It became a case study in perseverance, technology, and respect for the past.
In a young student's eyes, a new spark was lit.
The ocean endured, as it always had. A timeless frontier, giving and taking on a scale beyond human concern. The chest's contents took their place among other recovered fragments of time, another chapter in humanity's long conversation with history.
Some returned to the field immediately, drawn by the next puzzle. the next layer of sediment hiding the next story.
Life in all its forms carried on, from the sunlit surface to the lightless plain, each niche filled with relentless purpose.
The Argonaut underwent her own cycle of renewal. Scars were inspected, systems refreshed for the next unknown destination. The past and the future met on the surface of the glass, separated only by an inch and by 140 years.
The story began with a storm like this. A fight and entrance.
We navigate the same waters now with godlike awareness. Yet the fundamental danger, the ocean.
The sea has a perfect memory and a perfect ability to forget. It holds stories tight.
The mission became a part of him, a layer of experience woven into the fabric of a normal life. It was always there, just beneath the surface.
The recovery gave context to dry historical records. A line in a ledger now had a face.
We live in a world of reflections and surfaces. The mission was a plunge past all that, into the
submersible inspired models, diagrams, and dreams. It became a symbol of human ingenuity pitted against the impossible.
Somewhere, perhaps, there were descendants of those lost on the Empress Catherine. The recovery closed no grave, but it honored a memory.
The story entered the public consciousness, a 5-minute segment.
A segment of wonder in the daily news cycle.
And he felt the deck become buoyant again. The transition from land to sea. It was a feeling of rightness, of returning to his element.
The recovery was a reversal of that fall. A deliberate, slow ascent back into the realm of light and memory.
Formal recognition came in the form of plaques and ceremonies. Institutional memory is how humanity builds upon its discoveries.
There are depths on land, too. Chasms of time written in rock. The human urge is the same.
To some, the Argonaut was just another ship on the water. Its profound purpose invisible, its recent history unknown.
Not every voyage is an expedition. Most are simply passage. But the capability, the potential for...
There are other ways to know the sea. Intimate, generational ways. The mission...
From the ultimate high ground, the wound of the wreck was invisible. The ocean presented a seamless, unbroken face.
The mission ended where many begin, in port, at night, with reflections on dark water.
The data from the descent fed into larger models. The mission's value expanded, becoming a single data point in understanding the whole.
We still send small pieces of our hopes into the water. A superstition that echoes the profound...
For the crew who maintained her, the Argonaut was not a hero, but a home. A complex, living system that kept them safe. Our primary sense in the deep is sound. We send out pulses and listen for the echo, painting a picture with vibrations in the dark.
Mission created art. Images of light against absolute dark found their way into galleries, appreciated for their stark beauty alone.
The fear of the deep is primal. It lives in us all, in the hesitation at the edge of a dark hole where water disappears.
Technology democratized the discovery. Anyone could now take a virtual dive to the wreck, exploring without risk or cost.
The same engineering that plucks treasure from the abyss also crushes scrap. It is all a matter of application, of purpose.
The risks were never forgotten.
We built towers of light to keep ships from the rocks.
The story generated its own economy. Books, memorabilia, rights. The historical event spawned a new layer of modern history.
The deep sea is connected to all waters. Changes at the surface, in the ice.
The mission inspired the young. It entered the lexicon of childhood dreams, right beside astronauts and dinosaur hunters.
Years. We searched the silence of the ocean depths with the same tools and tenacity we use to search the silence of space.
The real treasure of the deep isn't gold, it's knowledge. Ecosystems that redefine life.
Thank you.
Recognition came in small, unexpected ways. A handshake, a thank you from a stranger who felt connected to the recovered past.
The past leaves multiple copies. A ship exists first on paper, then in steel, then in memory.
Each mission informs the next. The lessons learned in darkness are forged into the design of the ships that will follow.
The mission's value multiplied in unseen ways.
This was the team. For a moment in time, they were the point of the spear, the focus of all that planning and hope.
The moment was preserved. Framed and hung on a wall, it became a memory to be glanced at, a story to be told to grandchildren.
Not all depths are dark. The ocean offers layers of worlds, each with its own rules, its own beauty, its own mysteries.
The story found its tellers. Docents and guides became the voice of the lost crew, the narrators of the recovery.
Finally, he tried to put it into words. Not the report, but the feeling. The cold, the focus, the awe, the weight of responsibility.
Every voyage leaves a wake. A temporary mark on the water that smooths and
The horizon is not a limit, but an invitation. For the sailor, the explorer,
In the end, it comes back to a single object. They return to the coordinates not for salvage, but for respect. A ceremony for the crew of the Emperor.
The journal's first legible entry spoke of fair winds and a routine voyage. The banality of it made the ending more haunting.
Meteorologists reconstructed the storm that took her. A perfect, monstrous confluence of pressure and wind that no ship of her time could withstand.
Somewhere, a distant relative heard the news.
A family mystery, whispered for generations, had suddenly become real.
The work continues. The light of curiosity and craftsmanship pushes back the night, building the next key to the next lock.
We watch over the sea now with 1 million electronic eyes, but the ocean's capacity for surprise remains undiminished.
They carried the mission with them, a quiet pride that needed no audience. It was in their hands, and
then the ocean teaches humility. What you see is only a fraction of what is there.
We listen to the sea, to whale song, to shifting ice.
The urge to find is universal. From a child on a beach to a submersible pilot in the abyss, the thrill of the signal is the same.
The journal was saved. Its words, once in danger of being lost to slurry, were now...
Humanity's relationship with the deep is multifaceted. We seek knowledge, treasure, resources. The mission became a training scenario. The next generation learned on the precise parameters of a real, historic recovery.
The surface has its own kinds of darkness, a blinding whiteness that hides as completely as the blackness of the deep.
For a day or a week, the story was everywhere, a shared moment of wonder in a distracted world.
This was the moment of loss, the final rest. For a moment, imagine her whole. Sails taut, wood gleaming, alive with a hope.
All journeys end. Wood rots, iron rusts, but stories given.
The world honored them with accolades, but their real reward was in the doing, in the silent...
The obsession with depth takes many forms. It is a human constant to explore the places light abandons.
We have mapped the surface of Mars in greater detail than our own ocean floor.
The news cycle moved on. The story faded from headlines, becoming history itself, layered under newer events.
In other spheres, other crews listen to the deep, guarding or hunting. The ocean is a theater for all human dramas. The sky is a fleeting show. The ocean is the constant. It witnesses our comings and...
We build spaces that evoke the feelings the deep inspires. Awe, humility.
The sailors of the Empress Catherine navigated by these stars. We navigate by satellites.
And so the chest found a new purpose. No longer a keeper of treasure, but a gatherer of hope.
The mission left behind more than artifacts. It left a renewed imperative to listen, to monitor, to understand the changing sea.
The story was passed down, simplified into legend. Your grandmother went to the very bottom of the sea, where it's always night.
Iron has a long memory, but an infinite life. The atoms that once held a ship together may one day become part of a new explorer.
Each mission builds the next. The dreams grow bolder, the targets deeper, the questions more profound.
The physical fades, the digital endures. We make our copies, hoping to outlast the corrosion that claims all things.
In the immense blue desert, any solid thing becomes a monument.
The planet offers its wonders at every extreme. From the dancing skies at the pole to the living lights in the trench.
Not all preservation is for glory. Most of it is simple stewardship, the keeping of things because they might matter to someone.
Eventually, the grand missions end. What remains is the love of the water itself, in all its quiet, personal forms.
The memory of the descent exists here, in humming boxes of silicon, a ghost in the machine, waiting to be recalled.
And here, in the quiet blue, the story rests, not ended,